Alright, what's going on, guys? We are doing level 17 Denas' Castle on veteran mode. We have a level 10 starter hero, everything maxed out. For the upgrades, we have the Master Architect's Shield of Protection, Pit Lord with the Inferno Nova, and then a fully maxed out Soul Impact tree, like last video. Let's go ahead and get right into it. And here we are, face to face. Let's see if you can have your vengeance. This is not for revenge, fool. It's time for the kingdom to open its eyes. Okay, so this is the final level of the campaign, the main level. This, obviously, there are elite missions you can unlock after this. We are going to start off with fully upgraded archer towers. And then we will put a mage tower down as well, just a mausoleum. And that will be all the money that we have. There are a couple little gimmicks about this level that are very interesting. So we'll go ahead and start the wave. All the enemies are going to spawn at the top first. And we're just going to try to clump everything up because there are quite a few guys and they're going to run right past our archer tower if we're not careful. So we clump everything up like this, wait for them to go down a little bit, and then we drop our soul impact to get a decent reset on it. And that is a very quick first half of the wave. Now we're going to rotate to the bottom. And we're going to quickly prop a reinforcement and call in another wave. Now notice the main guy, I guess the evil guy, he is going to have this little icon on him. And what you do when you see that icon is you click on him. Don't click on his chariot he's standing on. Click on him, the character model. And you will drop these little, I guess like soul impacts. And they do lots of damage. It took me a little bit to realize that. I was actually clicking on the caption above him, and I was clicking on his chariot, and nothing happens. You actually have to click on the character model himself before the soul impacts will drop. So just do that, and they're really useful. Like I said, you just saw there, come in absolute clutch sometimes. They do massive amounts of damage to single targets. So wave 2, we just repeated the same process. We clumped everything up and dropped the soul impact. Very easy way to get through these first couple waves. Now, I upgraded our mausoleum in the center. And you got to be careful of these little doggies, though. So I put an Inferno Mage in the back. And I'm rotating my hero quickly to the back and clicking on the soul impact there. They're not that, they don't have a lot of armor, but they can slip past your defenses. So I built a Inferno Mage and an Archer Tower in the very back just to help clear up some of the stuff. And I also hired some of these harassers. So dropping a soul impact and calling the wave in early to get the reset. When you see a bunch of guys clumped up like that, you know you have to use your soul impact, especially if they have a little bit of armor. And really try to use the soul impact that the guy will give you for free as often as you can. So don't let him just be sitting there with the icon up. You want to always use that as much as you can. As far as upgrades go, prioritize your mausoleums and Inferno Mages. You'll see these little war wagon things at the bottom. They don't do damage, but they summon guys. Unfortunately, they have no armor, so they do die to the archers fairly quickly. Just ignore them for the most part. They're really not that much of a threat. They just, unless they get like deep into your defenses, but you're going to have enough archers to hopefully take care of them. Now these elves are really annoying if they start clumping up like that because they kill off your harassers and your hero. So just move your hero on top of them. And you can see these paladins on the horses, they're just going to charge right in. You'll need something to stall them out while the Inferno Mages take them out, so just kind of put your reinforcements in a strategic location. Throughout this game, I just move my hero back and forth as needed. You can see this paladin's getting a little bit deep into our defenses, so we'll go ahead and move our hero back. And that soul impact does so much damage against these armored guys, man. It just absolutely shreds them. The mausoleum at the top is making really nice work of these shield master guys. You can notice I'm not really prioritizing our barracks that much. I'm just keeping them at level 1 right now. It's all of our damage is going into these Inferno Mages and the Mausoleums. And you can see how much damage that Soul Impact does. It just finished off that Paladin right there. Very useful while our hero is dead. And again, just more points into these Infernos. This is where a lot of the guys will kind of group up. So having the... I didn't think it was that useful to have artillery at this level, but the Inferno Mages are definitely helpful. And just be careful about the dogs, because they have a little bit of magic resist and they're very fast. So if something... You don't want to have 19 lives coming into the final, you know, just because one little dog got past. It's no fun. And I am just kind of upgrading what makes sense here. Or put another Archer Tower and an Inferno Mage down, just to keep the damage a little bit just mixed, I guess you could say. Archers mostly for the Griffins and the healers and things. Inferno Towers, of course, for the heavily armored guys. And notice there's like that wall will just have archers shooting at you. Their damage is pretty negligible, but they do a little bit of damage. It's kind of annoying. There's not really anything you can do to stop it, so just be aware that they will... I think if you have your archers, like your guys far enough away, then the archers won't do that much damage, but if they're close to the wall, like you can see the harassers are, they will take a little bit of chip from these archers. Okay, so you can see double mausoleums here. One to cover each lane. And I make a really hilarious mistake here, I think. I upgrade my mausoleum all the way, and then I'm like, just to help deal with these, I went for the DPS. You can see the specters, but I think I accidentally end up selling it for some reason. I was like clicking really fast, and I actually sold the mausoleum. That was like my best tower, and I sold it. You'll see me do that in a second here, I think. Now I don't know what my hero is doing. He's just kind of chilling on the bottom. I think that would have been a really good spot for a Soul Impact, but I moved him back to the top to help deal with these guys, the golems. And we're just going to go for DPS. Notice I upgraded the Spectrals instead of the Gargoyles, because I felt like the damage was more important. And I called the wave a little bit early. That has reset our Soul Impact. I drop it on these Griffins because I want them to die so that their golems can be focused on. And I put the shadow arrows, or the corrupting arrows or whatever, onto the archer tower just to help weaken these guys a little bit. Okay, so I guess I didn't sell the mausoleum just yet. I think I do later though, by accident. But yeah, don't do that. Our hero is just going to be at the bottom to help deal with some of these guys. The golems, again, they're very slow, so thankfully our mage towers are finishing them off. We are going into wave 8. Okay, I guess I didn't sell it. What I did was I played this level twice because my game actually crashed. So I got to the very end and it crashed on me, so I had to replay this level. So I guess the first time I did it, I failed and accidentally sold my mausoleum. And the second time is the clean run. We don't make silly mistakes like that. This little choke point at the bottom, I would just make sure you do double Inferno there. And you shouldn't have too much trouble. The golems, again, I'm just focused on the other guys. That's all I gotta say. Putting the reinforcements on top of the golems is not that useful, and it will actually get it turned into sheep like that. So it can actually help the enemy. If you had the Infernos and the fully upgraded mausoleum, you shouldn't have too much trouble with these guys. Alright, so that is the first half of the level. It ends in the end of wave 8. You think the mere bricks and stone will stop me? You shall not pass, Vesnam. Surrender. Behold my power. Oh, come on. Boom. It's like Helm's Deep from Lord of the Rings. And here we get the second half of the level. And what a lazy king. Makes his guys carry him while he eats his cake. Okay, so very similar to the first half of the level. This is there is a boss fight coming up at the end, which is very exciting. And here we get to make use of the artillery tower, which I really like. It's probably my favorite tower. And I would just set your guys up like so at the bottom. And then they're also going to come on the top right, so you'll need to have a little bit of defense there. I'm just kind of debating on what I want to do, but I decided that this is the best defense. I put the Inferno Tower, well, Archer Tower there. I want to put a barracks at the very back, and then we will do a mausoleum in that top center area. And then, as usual, we're just going to upgrade the Archer Towers first to start with. So do something similar to this. You can experiment around with the Mage Towers. I found the Infernos to be very useful, so we'll do that. And then I noticed at the very front, I upgraded the Archer Tower all the way to level 4. And this should be fine. Just have your hero kind of standing in the center area. And as usual, I just drop a soul impact really quick because you can see there's a bunch of guys just clumping up at the entrance. So it'll help get a little money and get us through this wave a little bit faster. At the top with that level 4 Archer Tower, they should be enough to just take care of the recruits without having your hero there and without really investing too much. Now here's a little mechanic. Notice how that little artillery just disabled our tower. It will turn on fire, and you have to pay, I think it's 125 gold to douse the flames, and for the tower to be useful again. Fortunately, it only hit our barracks, so it actually didn't stop the damage, but this is a terrible upgrade, or usually a terrible waste of money if you spend the money to do it, unless the tower costs significantly more than 125 gold. Even if it does, a lot of times, especially early game like this, I won't pay to douse the fire out. I'll just wait the time unless I absolutely need to douse the fire out, because I want to have all the money so that I can upgrade my towers instead. So you can see dropping the soul impact again, just with the idea of killing off all the little small things. That golem tower is a threat if you don't have the mage tower set up. So I have an up level 3 mage tower in this central area, and then my hero just doing his best to stall out the other guys. And it can get a little bit chaotic. Notice I'm clicking on the hero, the enemy, to getting that free soul impact as much as I can, just to do the maximum amount of damage. And we have 2 level 3 Inferno towers to finish off the golem. So now, and with that money, I just upgraded a level 4 Inferno tower. And this is a defense I would recommend, just because you really need something to take care of those heavily armored guys. If you rely on the artillery or the archers too early, like, they're just going to run right past your defenses. So focus on the mages. There's too many armored guys to ignore. As the level progresses and we start getting on like wave 15, 16, 17, you'll see me upgrade the artillery tower, because that's when the guys start getting that critical mass where it becomes worth it to have that maxed out artillery. Okay, and it should be obvious, but try not to let your hero die like I just did. I drop a soul impact on these elven guys just to help. Hopefully they can die a little bit quicker. I think I actually dropped it in the center, but anyway. With the maxed out soul impact, it will just drop random impacts around. Another reason why the mage towers are so important, you can see those little eagle guys are trying to to get by, but the Inferno Mages just killed them in one shot. This center area, this center corridor area you're seeing, this is like our Valley of Death. This is where most of the guys will start to choke up. And Griffin's coming on the bottom now. I put some points into this Inferno Mage as well. This final one at this roundabout. As guys start to slip by, it's going to be really important to have this final Inferno Mage upgraded. Now you can see I think I do pay. I pay the 125 to douse out the fire there because that artillery tower is a very, very useful tower. So having him disabled is really bad. And I upgrade my barracks finally to get a little more stalling in because I noticed that those guys are running by too much. There's too many guys running by. We needed to stall some more. So that's another reason why I think it's better to wait on the barracks because you can always upgrade them later and get that extra stalling if you need it. That one little, I guess they're called footmen. At the bottom, I had to put a reinforcement there to stall him out. And you can see me drop another soul impact there. Just if you see a bunch of guys getting clumped up, good time to drop a soul impact. Upgrading another barracks as needed, and level at 15 here, very exciting because we have a fully upgraded artillery. And as these guys start to clump up, that extra damage from the artillery is going to do just absolutely insane amounts. He is currently on fire, so that's really annoying, but when the fire wears off, we'll be good. Another soul impact coming just to kill off some of the stuff. These golems are very annoying, and when you see a fully, a high health golem at the very end of your defense, you should be worried. That almost cost me the run here. I should have probably doused out the fire for the artillery long before I did, instead of waiting it out. I had to hire a barracks at the very back just to stall off these golems. And our hero eventually has to run back and chase down this golem here. He almost makes it. Unfortunately, if you're paying attention to the evil guy there, he gives you the free soul impacts. So you'll see how clutch that comes in a second. I even dropped the final soul impact just to try to kill off this golem at the top. But what really saved me was his clutch soul impact. You can see that always targets the one in the very back, so you can manipulate it to get a very favorable impact there. Now this is wave 16, so most of the stuff should be upgraded by now. We have 3 Inferno Mages all the way maxed out, and then our artillery, which we're upgrading slowly, and just doing so much damage. Other useful upgrades I would recommend would be the corruption arrows. Teleportation is not bad here as well. If you want, you can just do what I did and just upgrade the artillery tower first. So you can go with the engine parts and then the coolant or whatever it is. And lots of fun with the damage. Look at that damage, just crazy. Even against the armor guys, it still does quite a bit. As far as where to put your guys, when it gets a little bit crazy like this, having your hero, it's usually just best to have him in the back, kind of to deal with things as they need to be dealt with, unless you can see like a bunch of squishy guys, or you can move them onto. But I would just kind of have him in the back to help stall, because if you can get a good stun on a bunch of guys, then that means the artillery tower is just going to have more chances to do damage. But you really don't want guys to slip by too much, because that's going to take damage away from your central area. You can see I'm also investing points into the runes. I want to weaken. The idea is to kind of weaken the enemies in the center, and then as all the most of our towers are focused in the center area, that's going to maximize our chance to do damage. Finally, fourth Inferno Tower coming at the top. I think that's, for the most part, everything is maxed out. The barracks in the center is maxed out. We're putting points into the arrows. As always, you can experiment with some of the upgrades. Some of them are kind of optional. Some of them are just based on what you like, what you think will be good. You can certainly do what I've done, but I would encourage you to experiment with some of the upgrades to find out what works best. We have a lot of money because of this is the final wave, so just choose what you like. You can certainly douse out the fires here to get more damage in. And that's so annoying because immediately after I douse the fire out, I have to re-douse it. At this point, there will be quite a few towers that they're just going to light on fire. Whatever the most key one is at that moment, I would just go ahead and douse it out. You don't have to douse out all of them because some of them are kind of useless, like this barracks tower. You wouldn't want to douse that out. Okay, here we go. For my next trick, I'm bringing in old friends. This is a pretty cool animation. Summon a mighty demon. And that will be you have to keep this guy alive. Now, you think that's going to stop me? He summons his own guy, a paladin. This is like World of Warcraft. You have a paladin versus a warlock. The end is near and you refuse to accept it. Okay, so here we do this little minigame. The goal is to keep this demon thing alive while he gets closer to the door. I didn't realize this at first, but the enemy, or well, your Nezarite guy, your main guy, he will have that little icon above his head with a fist. You need to click on him for the demon to use its special attack. So just keep that in mind. As far as your hero goes, I would just have him stall out the other guys. Anything that does damage to the demon is going to be bad for you. So basically, you just don't want the demon to die. So these elven guys that are shooting arrows at him, that's bad. All the while you're doing this, you have to keep in mind that you have to protect your backline as well, because these guys will eventually walk to your backline and end your game or cost you lives. So while you're trying to prevent the demon from dying, you also have to keep in mind that these guys are going to be trying to rush down your defenses as well. But it does get a bit chaotic. I would just move your hero around, try to move him where he's most useful. These rifleman guys are very useful to kill because they do a lot of damage to your demon. Douse out the archers, douse out the Inferno Mages as you have the money to do so. Everything at this point should be maxed out or something close to that. I've moved my hero back just to help with the back line. And also to keep him alive so he can re-heal. But yeah, not too much. I don't know how much strategy is in this. It's very chaotic. You can see I'm just kind of going for some of the fun upgrades now. The assassinations on the archer towers. We have just loads and loads of guys coming out the center area, all these captains. Whenever that fist icon comes up, just use it. Now would be a really good time for me to use it, and I did. Douse out the fires. I would probably prioritize the mage towers over the archer towers to save. That golem guy is not too much of a problem. He's just getting shredded. And yeah, exciting stuff. Another fist that I can use. There we go. And that should be the end of it. Sorry, we're closed. Please come another day. Yep, all done. Resistance is futile, my dear Denas. Okay, so we gotta watch the demon just stroll his way up to the castle doors and pound away at this padlock. There we go. I am the one who knocks. There we go. Tap, tap, tap. Crash. You think you won? The kingdom will never accept their tyrant as a ruler. Who said they need my consent for anything? I am Vesnon. Time to disappear. Goodbye, old friends. And evil prevails. Woo! Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.